You're tuned in to the TWU Local 513 podcast. The latest news, updates, and conversations that matter to our members.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TWU Local 513 podcast. Obviously, you will notice that it looks a little different today. Normally, you hear just our voice. We're trying something a little bit different here, and we're going to cut to some video. And we will even entertain the idea of potentially maybe going live at some point and make it more interactive for the membership. The goal of the podcast is, and always has been, to give everyone updated information. We do think this is a good format. Again, like I mentioned on the last podcast we put out just honestly a couple of weeks ago, we want to get on a regular cadence, so that's the goal here. And joining me today is the one that normally joins me, my esteemed guest, our president, Greg Cosey. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you, Brian. As always, it's good to be here.
Any comments on the video format?
I have a face for radio, as I've been told many times, so this will be interesting. We'll see what the feedback will be.
It will be interesting. So we're open to criticism.
Not too much now.
Well, not too much, but I mean, this job's kind of come with a little bit of criticism. Maybe I should have got a haircut and trimmed my beard, but we'll roll through it and see how today works out. And then if it's favorable to the membership,
then why not, right?
Why not? We'll go with it. All right, so let's get into a little bit of business here. The first thing, a little bit of work, a little bit of pleasure. It is September coming up.
Right.
We got a lot of stuff coming up in September. The first thing is a work trip that we have an obligation to attend, and it's our TWU International Convention. Talk a little bit about the convention and explain to members what that is, and kind of what that week entails.
Right. So the convention this year is from September the 15th. I think the 15th is the Monday.
Correct.
So it's the 15th until the 19th. And it's in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's definitely a work trip. So the convention is the 4-year time frame where the international conducts its business. So to give a little bit of context to it, the IEB and C, the Executive Board and Council, meets quarterly to conduct business as needed. But according to the Constitution of the International, we have to have our convention every 4 years. And that's where the bulk of the business gets done as well. So there are resolutions that'll take place. There'll be guest speakers that we'll, have the privilege to see. There'll be the most important part would be the election of international officers. So it's a vital part of what the international does. And by the bylaws of the Constitution of the TWU and, of course, the bylaws of 513, the officers and delegates have to be in attendance too.
Okay, talk about the delegates for a second, because obviously the 11 executive board members are delegates, and then we have, just due to the size of our membership, we have extra delegates as well.
Yes, so the delegates are based on membership, as you said, and so the officers are delegates by virtue of being elected officers of the local, and we have delegates based on every 300 members. So because we have close to 4,600 members, that number increases, and so we're taking, I think, 4 delegates along with us.
Right.
So we'll have a total of 15 delegates out of 513.
Right. And that's a pretty big number as long as you don't compare it to Local 100.
Yeah, so Local 100 has about 45,000 members, so Local 100 will take over virtually half of the convention floor. They have well over 100 delegates out of Local 100.
Yeah, so previously being to a couple of conventions myself, It's a pretty inspiring event. To your point, it is a work trip,
Yes.
but it's, you're locked in all day. You're in committees in and out, and a lot of things going on. But you really get a good understanding of not only what a union is, but what our union is and what they do. A lot of videos, and they basically recap the last 4 years.
Yes. Speaking, specifically about the air division, not just at American Airlines with our contract extensions, but our brothers and sisters at Southwest with the ground and also flight attendants. They have a contract. Menzies with a new contract. Virtually all of the airlines represented by the TWU within this past 4 years have negotiated contracts. I mean, well over $16 billion worth of contracts have been negotiated in the past 4 years just for the air division alone. And so there'll be a recap of that work. One of the slogans of the TWU International is that we're the fight back union. And so it's like you said, it's very inspiring to be there because you get an opportunity to interact with our brothers and sisters from the other divisions and to see the progress that they've made. Also, and hear the challenges that they have as well. So, it's an inspiring couple of days to be there, but a lot of business does get conducted. Like you said, their committees are formed to discuss the resolutions, the things that we talk about that that are for the future or the projections for the international. So those things are fully discussed and vetted out during the convention.
Right. And you mentioned the Fight Back Union. I'm proud to say that this local is definitely a fight back local. A lot of the action through the international has come through this local.
Absolutely, yeah. It's one of the things that we talk about at our board meetings. The notion that we have to do a better job of letting our members know kind of what we do on a daily basis or a more consistent basis. It's not just about grievances and those things. Sometimes I think that I do a poor job of articulating some of the outcomes of the meetings we have and some of the battles that we take on from a local perspective. I guess this is a good forum for that. So maybe in future podcasts we can kind of go through the day in the life, but yeah, I'm very proud of the work that we do on behalf of our members. And part of that work is that we consistently challenge the company on a myriad of issues. Something like the scanner situation is a prime example. And not to get too far in the weeds of it, but on Tuesday's meeting, we were discussing the fact that local management was issuing disciplinary action to our members for damaged scanners. And so, we were very quick to say that was not part of the rollout, A. And then B, when you look at the total number of scanners that were damaged in the short time that they've handed them out, the fact that they were issuing discipline was ridiculous. So just to kind of give a scale on it, they've issued almost 3,600 scanners to our folks on the ramp. During that 3 or 4 week time frame, there's been about between 8 and 10 reports of damaged scanners. So why would they issue discipline during the normal course of business? Things happen. We work in a very dangerous environment. It's a safety sensitive environment, but things happen. And so there's no malicious intent when someone damages a scanner. It's an accident by virtue of it's an accident. And so on in Tuesday's meeting, there was tremendous pushback on the notion that because someone damaged a scanner or someone's scanner got damaged in the performance of work, that they would be issued discipline. And, after a robust discussion, we were able to get that peeled back. And so I was real pleased that our concerted effort as a board to get that discipline peeled back on those members.
Yeah, they say you collect more sugar with or you collect more flies with sugar than you do with shit. The company needs to realize that our guys are out there in the environment,
Right.
doing the heavy work, doing the heavy lifting in an industrial environment, and then they provide a fairly fragile device, which I think is a useful tool. You've got to understand that things will
Absolutely,
break
yeah.
and accidents do happen. So to your point, that was the pushback that, hey, if somebody, it slips out of their hand, they're out there wearing work gloves or whatever, that's one thing. But if somebody gets pissed off and slings it against the gatehouse
Right.
wall, that's
Yeah.
a whole nother
That's a
thing.
whole nother subject, yes.
Yeah,
But,
so,
I always say that the union is the conscience of the company.
right.
And, you have to realize that we're human beings and things happen. And I think sometimes management tends to not look at the human factors. And so that's part of what we have to do is remind them that we're human beings. We
Right.
make mistakes. We have accidents. Things happen. And to not be so heavy handed. To try to create a culture where people feel comfortable coming to work and they feel comfortable, doing things and making decisions and honestly where you feel comfortable sometimes making a mistake because you
Right.
learn from mistakes, you grow from them. So
Right. So I started this segment talking about, a couple of things coming up. One being work, which was a convention, led to the
Right.
Fight Back Union, Fight Back Local,
right.
and a pure example of a fight back. But the second part of that is something actually that's a lot of fun. It's work related because we're a work family, but it's the picnic that's coming up.
Yeah. We really enjoy the picnic. This year it's again it's at Circle R Ranch in Flower Mound, Texas, October the 18th, and it's always a lot of fun. Last year's picnic was incredible.
Yes.
The weather was gorgeous. We had more people attending last year than ever before. We always have a lot of our retirees, which is wonderful to see. They're always part of our family. But last year we had a lot of young members and their families, the young families. A lot of
Right.
kids were there, and it was really special to see the kids playing and having a good time and fellowshipping. Our coworkers and work family, their kids bonding with one another. So it's just a lot of fun. The face painting, the games, the rides, the animals. It's just a lot of fun, and we enjoy hosting the event. So look forward to it. Hopefully, our members can participate again this year. Hopefully, retirees can participate, and just look forward to it.
Yeah. So as we're sitting here talking, not that I'm looking at you and noticing anything, but we're talking about the things that really brings a smile to our face, and we're talking about the kids and stuff. We're the old guys now, Greg. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, every time I get up out of bed, my back is popping and knees are hurting. Yeah, absolutely.
All these years, right? You look at the guys, the crew chiefs, the senior people, who kind of brought you under their wing,
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a part in getting you hired and keeping your ass from getting fired.
Right.
And they were all these old guys.
Yep. And now we're the old guys.
We're the old guys.
Yep.
Oh man, I have to work on that maybe. Maybe a little dye or something.
Well, I dye my hair gray, so I don't know what you're talking about.
So, well, it looks good. So, all right. So enough of the humor. Let's move on to something that you spoke about at length about, taking pride in who you are and what you do and wearing your uniform. And, of course, it's, company policy that everybody should wear their uniform.
Right.
Nobody should be wearing AirPods and all this stuff. So elaborate a little bit about that from the old guy's perspective.
So yeah, and I'll speak very frankly. I was a culprit. I used to wear blue jeans to work, or I would wear the random T-shirt or whatever every now and then. And one of the old fellas back in the day when I worked in Nashville pulled me to the side and he told me, he says, we went on strike in 1969. And it wasn't about wages. It wasn't about health benefits. It wasn't about anything other than this company providing uniforms for us. It's like, really? And he's like, yeah. And that's how important it was to us then, and that's how important it should be to you now. They provide a uniform for you, and you should wear the uniform. And it impacted me. You know, if you ride around and you see a uniformed police officer, you don't see them in blue jeans; they're in full uniform. If you walk through the terminal, you don't see our flight attendants or our pilots in blue jeans or shorts or whatever; they're in full uniform. And so there's something to be said for that. I think that part of how we have to change our culture is that we have to recognize the power of our uniform. We have to take pride in our uniform. We should all take pride in what we do. You know, I always tell our new hire class that I'm a professional fleet service agent. And I take pride in what I do in loading a bag or running bags or pulling an airplane in or pushing or whatever that is. And it starts with how I look. And you should wear your uniforms. They give you uniforms. You should wear the uniform. We had a recent incident in cargo where the vice president of cargo was touring the facility, and several of the members he encountered were completely out of uniform, and it's just not a good look. So the management in cargo is starting to enforce the uniform policy as a result of that. You know, we've got reports of some members coming to work with shower shoes. I've had a tongue of a cart fall on my foot, and thank goodness I had on the proper safety shoes. I would hate to see somebody out there with, slides or shower shoes or Crocs, and something happened and they end up breaking their foot or toes because they're in improper footwear. It's just important. I think it's like I said, and I don't want to harp too much on it, but it's the beginning, I think, of the professionalism that we try to display, and that's how you look. So with the uniform policy is going to be enforced, and people need to wear their uniforms to work.
Right. And I will tell you, as a VP of the local, every grievance that comes through the operation that doesn't get settled before it hits the hall, once it gets to the second step, it comes over here. And people are getting written up for being out of uniform.
Yeah.
Wearing the AirPods. It's unsafe to be out there with, music blaring in your ear.
Right.
Look, I listen to them as well, but not at work. And so.
If we hold the company responsible for our safety,
Right.
then we have to hold ourselves accountable for our own safety as well. And it's just a symbiotic relationship. We can't point fingers at them without pointing fingers at ourselves. And so police our own, take the AirPods out, wear OSHA prescribed ear protection, wear the proper shoes, and wear your uniform.
Right.
Simple stuff.
It is. It's simple stuff. And the hardest part of the job is getting there, right?
Yeah, for me it is.
Ish.
Call me Ish for a reason.
You were 5-ish minutes late today. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right. So moving past uniforms, ear protection, which, falls in line with safety. Is there any other safety related items you want to talk about?
Yes. So obviously there's been a huge uptick in aircraft damage, specifically on the Airbuses, regarding the red and green lights when they open the cargo doors. What they're finding is that some of our members are not waiting until the door is fully engaged to when they start pulling up the jet fairs, etc. So our safety team has been tasked to walk around gate to gate to remind our members to wait until that door is fully engaged, until that green light is on and on for a number of seconds before you start pulling up to the airplane. We do tail to tail, which is a little bit separate from the engagement that our safety team does. But the next safety message that they will have will be about the green light, opening the door, making sure the door is wide open, and also cautioning our members about putting bags on the ground. That's another issue that's always been prevalent, but we need to understand that we don't work from the ground. We work from the jet vans. We work from carts. We do ourselves a disservice when we put the bags on the ground. So, but other safety issues are we're seeing guys, our members driving under jet bridges. That's prohibited. I think sometimes we get a little, I won't say careless, we just get a little comfortable. And we just have to remember that the AOA is a very, very dangerous environment. Overall, injuries are down from a system perspective, thank God. But we want to see them decrease even further. And so everybody needs to just be more cognizant of how they approach airplanes, walking across the ramp, how they handle their business. So, yeah, safety's paramount. We always say that we want our members to go home in the same condition in which they come to work, physical condition anyway. So,
Yeah, and I would agree where you say that, our members become complacent, right? It's redundant. You do the same thing every day, all day long, and you miss steps, right? Or you take shortcuts. I'll agree with that, but I'm also going to bring up another point. It's a time-based business and everything's about a delay or, you got to get this bag off by this time and all these metrics that they set for the airline. Those are all great. I mean, they want to run an efficient airline, but you have to do the job safely.
Yes.
And people try to cut corners to get the job done quicker because they don't want any scrutiny. And I'll tell them, and I know you will as well, do your job. Do it per the ramp operations manual, work safe, do your job properly, try to do it on time. But if you're put in a position where, you can't do your job safely, in proper protocol, then you should be able to sit and be able to answer for that and explain yourself as to why you weren't able to accomplish the task you were given and the time you were given it.
yeah, so there's a difference between being efficient and fast and rushing. And I don't think that anybody should ever rush in that work environment. I think that, you know the job well enough to know how to do the job efficiently and quickly, but you should never feel rushed. And you're right. I think some of our members feel that they're being pushed and being rushed and forced into virtually unsafe acts. And I don't subscribe to that. I know this board doesn't subscribe to that at all. No one should be put in a position where they feel that they're forced to do something unsafe. And you're right. We all have bosses. We all have people that we answer to.
Yes, sir.
And and so, but it's okay. It's okay to be questioned. And people also need to understand that when that happens, that this union, this local, is going to be there to support them.
Yeah, and to that point, we've got an operation full. In every station, we've got stewards, we've got chairmen, we got executive board members, we got safety stewards. So there's resources there. So anytime anybody is in that position, we should be the first phone call.
Absolutely.
The number to the hall, whoever, reach out to somebody.
Right.
And we have people in the operation that will be there, and take care of that on your behalf or help you take care of it.
Right.
And explain, the process and how things should be. And, we're the liaison between our members and management.
Absolutely.
That's our job. That's why we're put in these positions.
That's right.
All right. So let's talk about something that's coming up. It's been going for this will be the 25th year for the Harold Scutter golf tournament.
Yes.
Talk about the Scutter and a little bit about, coming up on the 8th.
Okay, I'll try to do it justice. Harold Scutter was a friend and coworker who years ago was diagnosed with cancer. And a couple of our guys went to visit him, and he said that his wish was to play a round of golf with his friends. So these guys arranged to, set up a day of golf for Harold and a couple of friends. And if my memory serves me, there were well over 150 people who joined Harold in this endeavor. And so that has continued. Harold unfortunately passed away um, sometime after that first outing, and people can continue to honor him by um, doing the Scutter event. And so over time, that has the donations and everything that have come from the event um, have been given the donations that are made. The money has been given to folks who are impacted by cancer. And so for 25 years, people have, given money and given time and given effort and given their love in support of those folks who are battling cancer. This is the last year for the Scutter, and it's anybody who's ever participated in it, anybody who's ever been around it, knows that there's nothing finer. There's nothing that we do um, that gives a better illustration of what it means to be a union brother or sister. Because here we have our fellow brothers helping another sister or brother. And so, unfortunately, this is the last year. Um, TWU has been a supporter of the Harold Scutter event for many years. And one of the ways that we're supporting this year is that our Working Women's Committee is selling pink T-shirts,
Right.
which is actually in honor of breast cancer awareness and for October. And so the T-shirts are $20, and so all of the proceeds from the T-shirts will be donated to the Scutter. So if you want to buy a T-shirt, you can see one of the committee members, the Working Women's Committee member, or you can go to our website, and there's a link on our website where you can purchase the T-shirt.
So I agree. I mean, the Scutter is just an amazing event, and I don't see how anybody could actually be a part of it and not be touched.
Yes,
It's emotional. It's uplifting for all the help and everything, and then you look at the recipients, and it's just a very touching event.
yeah,
Gary Bryce mentioned that, yeah, there's money raised that goes to the recipients, but the money could never be enough.
no,
It's
and
more about the support and the love and the care that comes with that.
yeah.
So it's an amazing event. 25 years, what a run, right?
Yes, absolutely,
What a
absolutely.
run. So anyway, let's end it on the Scutter, because I mean, what better thing to talk about than helping our members?
I agree.
So
I agree.
anything before we go? Any housekeeping? Anything? You've always got some parting words, Greg.
Well, I hope so. We talked about doing podcasts, and we've done some podcasts in the past. And I'd like to think that our members enjoy our podcast,
Right.
but we've committed to doing a podcast the Thursday of every month when we have membership meetings, and that way we can get on a regular cadence. And then we can talk about some of the things that we discussed during our membership meeting agenda. And so future podcasts will be more centered around some of the agenda items. I think some of our future podcasts will feature some of the resources that Local 513 offers. For an example, John Borges does a tremendous job helping our members as they transition into retirement. We have outside folks that participate with 513 that help our members beyond retirement. And so look, Medicaid, Medicare,
Right.
selections and all that type of stuff. So I think some future podcasts will feature, John and that entity. I think, we have a lot of our representatives doing great work, committee work. Denmark Masamoto was just elected co-chair of the TWU International Veterans Committee.
Right.
I think we should bring him on. I think people need to see that our members are not just impacting the things that we do here locally, but we have we are committed to service outside of this local. Denmark and Sean Dietz do a fantastic job with the Veterans Committee. Our safety committee does a magnificent job trying to keep our members safe and injury free. So I think, while I enjoy doing these the
No,
podcasts,
you're trying to quit. I know what you're
no,
doing.
I'm not going to quit. But I think it would be good to have other people on the podcast as well, and bring other facets of what Local 513 is about. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those types of podcasts and hearing those things, and you doing the magnificent job that you do in presenting the information. So
Yeah, well, prior to me coming on the board, and that we agreeing to start the Local 513 podcast, I started the TW Air Division podcast at the time, which it's kind of went by the wayside. We haven't had an episode since I've been here, as a matter of fact, so several years. But to your point about bringing on guests, that's exactly, what we did there.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, we can certainly do that here with the local. I mean, we've already talked about it. I'm just giving you a hard time about trying to quit on me, but that is the goal, to provide resources for our members, to help them in a lot of ways. And so I think that our members will be impressed to see some of the people that we're going to have come and speak, and the information that they'll gain from it. It's a good thing. Can we schedule the next one outside of allergy season? Because I know here we are live, right? Normally we edit it and everything, but I've been
right.
And so I know there's going to be a little bit of editing here. I'll apologize for that. But again, we're human. We're certainly not professional host
Nope.
or hostess or hostee or however it is. Anyway, I like to give you a hard time, Greg.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, you're a good friend and you're a damn good president, and we're very blessed to have you. So I just want to say that, for everybody to hear me say that.
Everybody heard that. So,
yep.
All right.
And I'm expecting payment for that,
Absolutely.
because you promised me. You said, hey, pump me up. No, I'm kidding. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. A little bit of fun, hopefully some good information for everybody. Hopefully you enjoy it. We do want some feedback. Get back with Greg or myself. Reach out, let us know. Is it good? Is it bad? We want to put out a product that our members can be proud of. To your point,
yes.
we try to be a little bit lighthearted, because, if you just get bogged down in the work, it'll wear your ass out. So you got to kind of fluff it up a little bit, as you say, a little light and fluffy.
Yeah.
So, all right, Greg, well, thank you for joining me, and we're going to wrap up today. And thank everybody for watching this, and we will see you hopefully next month. Have a good day.